movie role because she refused to sleep with a film director. Then after that, we started getting feedback. Some sending us their personal accounts. Today we have decided to zero in on a voice note that an actress sent to me. Now she recounts the ordeal she went through in pursuit of her acting career and how she had to succumb to sexual demands for movie roles and what has become of her now. In all this, one thing that most people keep saying when they hear stories like this is name and shame. Name and shame. Elsewhere in the world, creatives like Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, Diddy, Tim Westwood, Harvey Weinstein, they've all suffered some form of this or these allegations. Now, are women or men who go through any form of sexual abuse in this industry able to name and shame in all parts of the world? How do we know they are telling the truth? And what are the legal implications of naming someone in such a situation? Are there psychological implications as well? Now, I hope you've heard of the Me Too movement. Can that happen in Ghana? We explore all these on the show today. Yes. But before I even welcome my guest, let me welcome my guest into the studio, then I get into the biggest conversation. Yes. So I have in the studio talented, brilliant, beautiful actress Vicky Zuga. Hello. How are you?
I'm good.
Welcome to Showbiz A to Z.
Thank you.
Hope you're doing well.
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great.
Awesome. How has the industry treated you so far?
It's been good.
Awesome.
Vicky Zuga because of the creative or movie industry. So I'm grateful for it.
Awesome. So that's Vicky Zuga right here with us, Showbiz A to Z. I also have in the studio Bobby Bunsen, who is the lead consultant at Robert Smith Law Group. Bobby.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thanks for having
me. Please don't beat me. I trust you're doing well.
Yes, well.
Don't beat me at all. We are happy to have you today in the studio. Finally having Bobby in the studio is a pleasure. Yeah, he's very busy. He's very, very busy. I also have in the studio Dr. Adolf Ewuku-Bekwin, who is a clinical psychologist. Sir, welcome to Showbiz A to Z.
Thank you very much for having me.
Awesome. And then my big sister, Whitney, we're here again. How are you doing?
I'm good. You?
Fantastic. Did you get any feedback last week from the conversations or the things we said right here?
Loads of them. Loads of them.
I think it's an issue of special interest to the people out there.
And the fact that the biggest feedback was kudos to Joy FM for starting the year right with a lot of issues pertaining to the women in the industry. So and the amazing thing is it was coming from quarters that I didn't think they would listen to showbiz industry matters. And it's good to know that people have the women in the industry at heart and they want more of such conversations to happen. So kudos.
Thank you very much for coming through as well. So, as I said in my intro, last week after the conversation right here, we had messages, we had accounts, and this actress sent us a voice note. We decided to muffle the voice to protect this actress because, in our part of this industry, what comes after some of these allegations. We don't know the legal implications of all these. Now, lawyer is here. Maybe after this particular account, lawyer would advise us on what to do moving forward. If somebody push you in that situation, what are you going to do so that you are not caught or wanting? So this lady sent us a voice note that actually talks about the ordeal she went through in her quest to become an actress in this industry. Ladies and gentlemen, please pay critical attention to the account of this particular actress. But even before that, please let me take you back to last week. So, for those of you who missed out on Akofa's conversation, what she said triggered this whole sexual harassment conversation. So let me take you to last week. Let me take you back to last week and listen to Akofa, a Gianni actress, what she said about sexual harassment.
That I was shooting in somewhere after Kumasi, I think. Unfortunately, the director was a Nigerian. And we're going to shoot 2 movies back to back. So based on that, the executive producer had, begged me to bring my rates down. So because we're doing 2 movies, that he'll pay a certain amount, which reluctantly I agreed to. Now here is a director who asked me to come to his room. I said, come to your room and do what? Oh, we'll watch a movie. I said, watch what movie? I mean, come on. Whatever you want to tell me, I don't have to come to your room. Apparently, he wanted something else. I said, like, seriously? Me? Are you serious? I mean, like...
Wow.
So
Wow.
I didn't go to his room. And guess what? That cost me the next movie.
Really?
Yes. And when I asked the executive, he said, oh, it was the director who was casting. He who did the casting. But I said, but you're paying me this amount because it's 2 movies you're going to shoot. I said, oh, sorry, there's nothing I can do about it. It's the director that did the casting for the second movie. So I didn't get to play the second movie just because I did not agree to that nonsense that
Wow.
And let's say the
wanted,
truth. If it were to be
but
a
so
guy,
it
most
happens.
men will just take it.
If you don't stick to your principles and just
You fall
because you
for it.
want to be in a movie, I mean, you can't make me. I'm already
Sure.
Me.
me. And even before I get to where I am now, I never had to do that with anybody. My talent has worked.
Okay, so that is the voice of Akofa Agyani. Now, take a listen to this actress who sent us a voice note recounting what she went through when she wanted to become or to get into the film industry.
Kwame, so I really enjoyed Showbiz A to Z last week, right? I actually think I enjoyed it because I could truly relate. So Kwame, this industry is really just a scam, to be honest. Yes, a real big scam in an exploitation cartel. Why do you think that we do not have a thriving and a vibrant movie industry? You, the actress, you have to offer yourself for the role. You don't get paid well, and if you have to make some good money, then you have to get pimped. Look, I've had to quit and give up on my dreams of ever becoming a celebrated actress. I started off as a child actress. I joined the drama club in my school, even became the leader of the club. Kwame, I even played a few kid roles for some on-air productions like adverts, drama and film. So everybody around me knew I was going to be a great talent, right? They believed that I was going to make it big, but that was not to be. I mean, let me also say that I'm a bit endowed, right? I'm curvy, quite attractive, and I get a lot of compliments. Some very silly, sexually suggestive, I must say. So, I was introduced to one movie producer, right, by a friend of mine who attends the same church with him. He liked me instantly. He paid me a lot of compliments as well, blah, blah, blah. And then one day he asked me to come over to his office for the auditions. Actually, the day I met him, he asked me to come for the auditions the next day. So you can imagine my excitement, right? My first audition role, the script was also ready. Like, it was already written and I just had to act it out. And the script was, imagine that I'm your boyfriend and you want something very important from me. Seduce me into giving it to you. Now, there were pointers, right? Sit on his laps, kiss him, and do all you can to get it. Those were the pointers of the script. So, I was not expecting it, but I really wanted the role. So, I got into character, and before I realized it, this guy's hands were all over me on my breast, and he tried kissing me for real. When I thought we had to just ask the kissing before, and before long, I felt his finger slide into my underwear and he started touching me down there. I pushed him away and I wondered, like, what's all that about? He asked me if I didn't want the role or if I didn't ever want to become a superstar. I told him, I definitely do, but not like this. And he said to me, well, it's the only way. And I said, over my dead body. And I just walked out. I just walked away. This guy told me that I was going to come back and that there's no other way. And oh, Kwame, he was definitely right. Look, every other producer I tried demanded the same. And just like the first, most of them were sadly hidden in the audition script. In fact, one of them told me the days where talent were sought after to make producers relevant are gone. Yes, he told me today talent need producers. And you must do as you are told to gain any form of exposure, fame, or relevance. So I went back to my friend, the one who introduced me to the first producer, to beg him for me. But interestingly, he was also already in on it. Yep. And he told me to just give in and pray for forgiveness. He told me that it was the norm and that all I needed was one opportunity and my talent to be shown to the world. So I went back to the first producer. I apologized. And he said that, for apologizing, he'll give me a lead role. So yes, Kwame, I gave in. I was given the lead role. The movie was a hit. But I had to continue giving in for all the others. I did 2 more times with 2 other producers, and then I called it quits. Honestly, I was not going to become a prostitute for fame. I just called acting quits. I was hurt and broken, and I became depressed. I went back to live with my mother out of town for about a year to pull myself together, and also to purge myself of all that I went through. So now I have an online business and I'm hoping to, just make some money and invest into a few gadgets to start creating content online. Because that way I could still exhibit my talents without being used. But Kwame, let me tell you something. For the few months that I stayed in this industry, I was privy to a lot of things. Oh, phone conversations, text messages and in-person chats between one of the producers who is also a pimp, and who also happened to be one of the ones I gave in to, and several women in this entertainment industry, where he connects them to rich men, pimp them for sponsorship and investment packages, and he got a percentage of whatever the ladies were offered. Let me tell you this. There's this celebrated female award organizer in this country who got pimped to an investor who sponsored her award event and other projects. She's a married woman, but because she really needed the support, she gave in and regularly serviced this investor for continuous sponsorship. Look, you may never know, but most of the marriages of female popular personalities that have broken down are all due to some of these factors. They were forced into sex because they needed sponsorship for their project, their husband found out, and the marriage ends. I've sent you 2 names. Please don't mention it on air, please. But just do your secret investigations. You may find out more. Ask yourself, Kwame, apart from Jackie Appiah, and about 2 others who regularly and back-to-back can account for their wealth, where do you think most of the other ladies get their monies from? Where? They don't act regularly. They don't have any visible businesses. Yet they live very lavish lives because they have to belong. Like I mentioned earlier, it's just the whole exploitation cartel. Look, I went onto your wall and I saw a lot of people who were saying we should name and shame. How do you name and shame without any form of evidence? In my case, my first case, for instance, where I was asked to audition for a role and I was sexually harassed. How do I prove it? This is the main reason why they always get away with it, because quite often, we don't have any ways to prove it. It's just your word against theirs. Yeah, so that's my story.
Yes, so that's the story of the young lady who sent us the voice notes after our discussion last week on women and the challenges they go through in this creative industry. And you just heard everything for yourself. Now, if you have anything to tell us right here on the show, send it to WhatsApp number 05511119997. 05511119997. WhatsApp line. Later on, we'll open the phone lines for you to also call in and share your opinion. But in the meantime, let me speak to my guests right here in the studio. Let me start with the actress. Hello, Vicky.
Hi, Kwame.
You just listened to the story
of
the worried lady. Can you relate?
Yes, I can. And I think this thing has been talked about so many times. Like, this conversation has been going on for as long as I've been in the industry, and almost nothing has been done about it. But I'm hoping that now that Joy FM has brought it up again, something will be done about it. It's affecting us. But I would also want to say that it's not just in the creative or movie industry.
True.
It happens in the corporate industry.
True.
If not more.
True.
Because I've worked with a 9-to-5 kind of corporate people before, and I see what happens when after work there's traffic and you have to delay a bit to get home when the traffic goes down, and then you have to do stuff with your stuff. You know, with your stuff. You know, so I know these things happen more in the corporate industry, but we are more vocal. We are out there. We are exposed. So people find out about us. People listen to us. People see what we do a lot. So ours is all over the place. But it's everywhere. And it's a conversation that has been going on for long. I'm hoping that Joy FM comes out with a solution, if possible, if there is anyway.
Because elsewhere, some of the women are so vocal to come out, even mention names and all that. But we don't see that here in our country.
We do, but you see, in this part of the world, when you're this vocal, they think that you're not wife material. So if you're a woman who is hoping to get married one day, or who is aspiring to be maybe a politician or a known public figure, then you don't need to say these things on air or expose yourself like this, because you'll be blacklisted.
Have you personally encountered such a situation before?
I have, and I think I've spoken about it severally. People come and they say, oh, name and shame. If you can't name anybody, then it's not really true. You're just making up stories and everything. And then when you name, they tell you, you're messing up with people's marriages. These are people who have moved on and are married and are in relationships, and you're naming them. And this is in the past. You should move on yourself and get a life. And, and they say you are bitter because you're still single. That's why you're naming them. You see, so you just don't know what to do with people. You can't please anybody. You just have to, if you feel like naming and shaming, go ahead and do it. But if it's not going to help your career or where you are at the moment, then Charlie.
So, let me read this. You are reported to have said right here on Joy FM some time ago that if you are an actress and no director has ever expressed interest in you, then there is something wrong with you. And let me quote you. You said, search for roles in the movie industry is very real. I won't lie about it.
Yeah.
It's happened, it's happening, and it will happen again tomorrow, and it's normal.
Yeah.
If you are a woman and you are in the industry and no one is asking you out, like a producer, a director, or someone who is in charge, isn't asking you for sex, then there is something wrong with you. Did you say that?
Yeah, and I still stand by it. I mean, men are attracted by what they see, and people in the creative industry always look good, right? The girls are beautiful. They are all beautiful. So, of course, the men will come for you. So if you are in the industry and no director, no one at all, no producer,
don't we have directors who are very
charge.
disciplined and wouldn't?
I'm not saying there's no director who is disciplined. I'm saying that if you are in the industry and no one has approached you, of course you're not going to be working with just one director the whole time.
Yeah.
You're going to be working with different directors. And if you have been able to work with about 5 or 10 directors and none of them has approached you in a sexual way, then there's a problem.
Do they do that because maybe they are genuinely in love with you, they want to have a relationship with you, or just to take advantage of you?
I can't tell, but based on personal life experiences, I think most of them just want to take advantage of you.
Okay, let me go to Whitney then. Gradually, we get into the psychological and the legal side, and we get into the issues proper. Whitney, so you've listened. Okay, you were here last week, so you listened to Akofa share her experience, listened to Lady also share hers. What do you make of these two scenarios?
Before I talk about last week and the repercussions of, or the ripple effect of what we have heard, let me say this. I think it's not just me, but Bobby and
Dr.
Doc also, I think we also said, when Vicky mentioned that if you're a woman in the industry and you're in the industry, you've been working, and no producer has ever
no producer or director has ever expressed interest in you
or sexually approached you, there's a problem. I think that's where the problem is. I think we've come to a point in our lives where we've accepted that this is such a norm in our industry. So if it does not happen to me, or somebody doesn't sexually make a pass at me, then there's something wrong with me. And I think today that it should be a conversation that we shouldn't encourage.
Even if the man loves you genuinely, wants to have a relationship with you?
If you have been in an industry for some time and you're working, you're making ends meet, and no man has sexually made passes at you, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. It is probably because they know that you are not the one to play that kind of games with. So they wouldn't. I get that a lot. I didn't
say there's something wrong with you as an individual, as a person. So then there's something wrong. Okay. And there's no. So I think Whitney and I are saying the same thing, but in a different. Of course, it's not supposed to be acceptable. But based on my experiences, if this hasn't happened to you for the past years that I've been in the industry, then there's something wrong. It means that this is what has been going on.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, my understanding of what Vicky said is just how pervasive the issue is. It's everywhere, and so if you are not picked on, then it is there.
Then maybe there is something right about you.
Yes.
Yeah, there may be something right. I mean, the way that my understanding.
They don't care about what is right about you. They just go for what they want.
It just, to me, pointing out how pervasive the phenomenon is in the industry, and not to question one's identity as being wrong.
But even if it is so prevalent in our industry, I am on the stand, and I stand on toe with that. Even if it's happening, 9 out of 10 women are sexually exploited. The one that is not being sexually exploited, let her know that it is not because there's something wrong somewhere. It is just because probably she's not the kind she's not the kind to play ball, so they won't even approach her. But I also agree that yes, 9 out of 10 times there's sexual exploitations that happen. It is so prevalent, and it is not only in our industry. It is everywhere. You're going to look for a day-to-day job. People in higher places. I think quite some time ago, a lady posted on Twitter about somebody hitting on her in an office when she went for an interview, and then the company came out to say that it wasn't so. Then she listed names that this and this person sat in the interview. I came at this time, this person and this person. And I think that that was a wake-up call for them.
Right.
That you may come out to do a good PR to defend it, but now she's putting names to what is happening. Unfortunately for us in our industry, the issue is that, and unfortunately for us in our society, we tend to be peacocks. And we tend to be very hypocritical about this thing. And then in the end, the victim becomes the villain. It is always the case.
Okay.
The victim always ends up being the villain, that you cannot speak your truth without people saying that, oh, but you were dressed some way. Without people saying that, oh, but she carries herself some way. Without people saying that, but that is how. And then the one that kind of gets my goat is, as for the creative women, they are all like that.
Yeah.
So it's a very loose industry where this is what the women do. And unfortunately, because you are like the person that sent the mail said,
yeah,
you go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 producers, and everybody is speaking the same language.
Yeah.
So you have no choice than to play ball. And like she said, as soon as she did with one, words get around quickly. People talk. Last week I mentioned that the same way they will tell you that, oh, do with me, next time they will have conversations and they will name, oh, I've done with this person, so the next person can also.
But sometimes that conversation is not always true. There are people who have told others they have slept with me to give me roles, and they never did. I mean, it was just a bait to get to them.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, like she's saying, this is her story she's sharing, that as soon as I did one, and prior to even doing it, she said it seems like they are all on the same cartel, so they are all telling me play ball. So as soon as I did one, I had to do two. She did 3 times and said, I cannot continue this way. But imagine, she said, I cannot continue, and stopped. Imagine the number of other young ladies and sometimes even grown ladies. I mean, sexual exploitation does not have an age to it.
Okay.
That is what we need to know. It does not have an age. A 2-year-old is being sexually exploited. A 50-year-old gets hit on. So imagine the number, if she were to have continued with this path, the number of people she would have done this with. And then, like she's saying, they are pimped. So from one person doing it with you, now he pimps you to get money, to get a percentage of that. And that I am not doubting, Bobby, because I run a protocol company, and one of the most, I wouldn't say shocking, but it was wild. I got a call and they wanted young ladies to come and do protocol services. I mean, we do that a lot. Lately, I always say that I've trained so many people, they've also taken on that mantle. But where they wanted young ladies to, and I went into business mode. I was asking the usual questions: what day, what time, what do you need them to wear, and all that. And then when we got to what do you need them to wear, then the person goes on like, and if I tell you where that call came from, you will be shocked.
Wow.
They want them to be totally nude. They will be providing protocol services. So I was like, for what? It said, oh, for the usual. As soon as it said for the usual, it made me realize that it is happening. It is happening. So I further went on.
Do you understand the usual?
For the usual, as in when they come, so he goes on, one person makes this amount of money. So throughout the night, the more you go on with this and this and this, the more you make. And at the end of the day, so how much do I charge on each girl? And I am telling you that this is, and they were shocked that, I mean, they said when it comes to protocol services in this country, you are like the pinnacle of it. So we came to the best because you would have the best specs of, and I said, unfortunately, I don't do this. I don't provide such services. Wherever you get such services, please go there. But I do not provide such services. I have seen it happen at events where people are literally pimping girls, and it looks like you are. It happens. I mean, let's not sit here and behave like things do not happen across board. But it is very prevalent because in the entertainment industry, Bobby's looking at me like, wow. In the entertainment industry, we are kind of out there. So everything we do is out there. But it is happening. It is happening.
Let me come to lawyer Bobby Bunsen. Lawyer, so you've listened to this lady's story, the one who sent us the voice notes. Is this case something that she can go to court with?
Well, I wish I had the capacity to apologize to all of them on behalf of the men that have.
Why do you want to apologize on behalf of them?
I had the capacity
you wish you had.
To. I'm not sure they have sent me to do it on their behalf because I'm at a point I was very emotional hearing these things. If I have 5 sisters, and I was imagining if any of them had gone through this and they had come to tell me, what would I have done?
Yeah.
And I have friends in the industry. I don't talk to them about these things, but now with what you are saying, I'm thinking, okay, so they go through these things and they don't have opportunities to speak about it. They grow with it. How would it affect their relationships if they do? Yes, we all say it happens. But at what point will we get the men to be responsible? Listen, okay, so to the law. I don't think that the law, the law does not prohibit a relationship between an employer and an employee.
Good.
In this instance, I would want to call your space like an employer relationship, loosely.
All right.
Or if you are providing contract services, there's no law that says that if I come in here to multimedia to work, and I see a lady, I cannot have a relationship with her.
But you cannot. Has to depend. They are all taken. You cannot.
It has to depend on the company's policy. So you have a lot of institutions, both government institutions and private institutions, that have sexual harassment policies. That you cannot, for instance, use certain words on ladies. The law is so broad, and it starts from the Labor Act, where there are specific provisions against sexual harassment in a work environment. So work environment could be you providing, like going to act, going to sing. That is deemed as a work environment. The criminal code defines it as indecent assault. And it's defined as loose as even hugging, mere hugging.
Hugging?
Yes. Mere hugging of a lady without her consent.
Hugging?
Yes, hugging. Is that loose? Yes. So the emphasis is whether or not the conduct
the number of people who have then...
Yes, it's as loose as that. The emphasis is whether or not your conduct was welcomed by the opposite sex. Well, today we are talking about the male and the female, but let's not discount the fact that there are some men who would also say that they've experienced it. But let's focus on our sisters for today. Yes. So you would have any form of conduct, oral, even text messages, sending text messages. Oh, I like the way you appeared on the show. Vicky, if I live here and I text Vicky and I say, Vicky, you look very beautiful. I like that your hair.
Yeah.
And she, okay, I don't know you. I just saw you. What kind of comment is this? It could be defined as sexual harassment. Is that loose? It is that loose.
Compliment.
Yes. So let me give you an instance. I have been teaching in the law school for like 7 years now.
Okay.
If for any reason I have to touch a female student in describing a situation, I ask, do you mind if I touch you? If I have to, I walk through the class. If I have to sit down close to a lady, I ask, do you mind if I sit here? I'm the lecturer.
Yeah.
But I ask them, and they go like, oh, feel free. I'm like, no, I don't want anybody to think or to feel that I'm sitting here and she's not comfortable. So I ask them, are you okay that I sit here? Even if I walk through the class, are you okay that I walk through? I ask. Because it is very loose. Somebody can say that you targeted me and you have intentionally come to stand by me, and you are making me feel uncomfortable.
Wow.
And so we take a lot of things for granted, but the law is very, very strict on these things. Very, very strict. Now, I know that if we want to talk about the causes, it will take forever. Let me go to the legal remedies.
Okay.
Yes, there are legal remedies. And in this country, there's a reported case of a CEO of a very big company who sexually harassed a lady. The lady sort of did not like it. She complained. Her employment was terminated.
Okay.
The lady went to Shraj. And that is where I want to bring the education on.
Good.
Shraj, the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, is empowered to conduct their own investigations on these things and give our remedy. So if you're a victim, don't think that you must go to only the police with your evidence. You can go to Shraj.
Oh, okay.
Shraj has the mandate to conduct their own investigations. So all you need to go and do is to tell them that, listen, I have been a victim of A, B, C, D. This is where it happened. This is how it happened. Shraj will investigate.
Wow.
And the alleged suspect or the suspects would have to respond to Shraj's investigations. And if Shraj investigates and find out that your act, because this is a human rights issue, every woman or every man has a right to personal dignity.
Yeah.
It's in the Constitution. And so if I feel that somebody's remarks towards me is an infringement of my personal dignity,
okay,
it's a human rights issue. You can go to Shraj, and Shraj will investigate. And there's a case in this country where Shraj investigated, found the CEO and owner of the company guilty or liable, awarded him to pay damages. The person didn't want to pay. They went to court, and the court upheld Shraj's holding and ordered the man to pay damages.
Wow.
And in these matters, your identity can be kept.
Okay.
The victim.
Okay. Okay.
Your identity can be kept and not disclosed. And so it is not as if you are scared, okay, I don't have any evidence, I have to go to police with hard evidence. No, you can go to Shraj. And Shraj would help you gather the evidence. Because you may not have all the apparatus to do the investigation, so you are worried.
Yeah.
But if you go to Shraj, Shraj can do the investigations using state resources. So they can even interview other women that may have. So you, like the lady who sent the message, the name she mentioned. If she goes to Shraj, she gives Shraj this name. Shraj can interview those women. And if there are 3, 4, 5 stories like against you, then you have a question to answer.
And if there are not as many, if that's the only case.
No, it doesn't make your case less. You don't need multitude of witnesses to establish your case in court. As long as there's some form of credibility with it. And so you can go to Shraj. Like I said, it's also a criminal offense. So you can lodge a criminal complaint.
Okay.
You can actually on your own start a civil action.
How do you do that?
You file a written court that this person has assaulted you, because assault is a crime. Remember it's a civil offense, it's a tort.
Okay.
So the criminal aspect will be indecent assault.
All right.
But in tort, it could be assault, and then you could be entitled to damages. So when you started the program, you made reference to Michael Jackson, R. Kelly. Those were all civil actions where millions of dollars were paid to the victims, and they were settled. And we have ongoing cases involving Puff Daddy as well in those matters.
Sure.
So you could have civil cases, you could go to Shraj, and you could commence lodge a criminal complaint. Now, I've been making this point for some time, if we have a very strong union,
as in,
now we have the Actors Guild.
Okay. It's supposed to. Okay.
So that is why I said if we have a strong
issues.
union.
Vicky's laughing.
If you have a strong and united union of persons in the creative arts, the force that they will carry, there is no political party that can have that force. I've always said it.
So the guild could champion this?
Yes, they underestimate the power that they have as creatives. There's nothing in this country that goes on without the involvement of creatives. Why do politicians feel the need to always come to them?
Yeah.
there's no political campaign that would go on without a song.
You can't do
You
that.
can't do it without a song. So why are they not? You forget the men. Can the women?
Lawyer,
Yes.
I don't think we underestimate the power that we hold. I think that most of the people in charge are guilty. So
Exactly.
No, I'm talking about the victims.
Some
So
of the
the women-
victims also benefit.
That is what I'm saying. So if there's a unity,
we will get there.
If
For
there's
those who benefit, I don't think they have any.
they don't have it because
any
then
case.
you welcomed it.
Exactly. So that's
If you have the woman, for example,
yeah.
you said Auntie Akova was here
Last week.
last week.
Yeah.
I want to think she's a very senior person in the space.
Sure.
If you have her saying that if you have been a victim of such a thing, come to me. I will lead the charge. And she has 10, 15, 20 hiding behind her, and they go to all these producers and say, listen, we have this. We are going against you. It will put fear in the men. They will sit up. But you get Auntie Akova saying it and say, okay, let's leave it. Vicky says, well, if you're a woman and you've not experienced it, then there's a problem in the space. Is it that the economic situation, because it comes down to that as well, will not allow them to ventilate their grievance? That, okay, if you do it, what work are we going to do? So let's all keep quiet. Let's allow the men to do it until they get to a stage where they will sit up. I don't think that the industry or whatever space, especially in this space, would see any growth to the extent where we have to see. Because from what the other side is, it also means that if a female is not talented, she could use her body to get lead roles.
Oh yeah.
But she said these days it is no longer about
Yes.
It's not about talent.
So at
It's
the end of
about-
the day, the industry itself will not see growth because you don't put talented persons on the screen.
Exactly.
And those who are talented will not get the roles because they are not giving in, and yet they are not speaking about it. So if we keep quiet, the cycle will break at a point. Because I'll not be interested to go to a movie to watch because hey, this person, that person, they will not act well. It means the investment in it
You
will
want
keep
to see
coming down.
proper
At the end
acting.
of the day, those who have the real talent and need to make money out of it are the ones who will lose. So if we have a united front to take some of these, and I'm happy she's saying every time we say it, nothing happens. She hopes that this time something can happen. Vicky, I'm putting you on the spot. maybe you can take charge. Put together a team of those that have been victims of these things. Go to Shraj. Shraj, you don't pay money. So you don't need a lawyer for you to say, oh, you have to go and pay money to a lawyer.
Okay.
No. Go to Shraj and let Shraj start their
Bobby,
investigations.
Let me be Vicky's advocate.
You will.
Vicky, and I know that it will happen. She will start a good cause. By the time she gets to Shraj, she'll be a loner.
Then your industry has itself to
that
blame.
is the problem.
Well,
Then you are the problem.
I have
That
a
is the
different
problem.
take. I don't think
Yes.
it can be blamed on the industry alone. We are a society.
Yeah.
What affects the other
Affects everybody.
affects everybody. So we can't leave it to the industry actors alone, because you don't know when somebody close to you will go into the industry, and if the industry is so bastardized, then it affects everybody. But there are certain fears people have, particularly survivors or victims, for not reporting, for losing their jobs,
Yeah.
nowhere to go for help,
Where do they go?
being called names. You are a troublemaker,
Being blacklisted.
being blacklisted. So there are real fears.
And the psychological effects.
We haven't even come
Later.
to that. Okay? And I think that it is very important for society to really be behind what is, be against what is wrong,
Yeah.
and rise up. I'm just here thinking while the audio is, I was listening to audio, and I'm saying, but these producers, we know who are the producers in this country. Don't we know them?
Oh, we know them. There are a lot of them actually, directors as well.
Yeah, so the producers have a question to answer. Because everywhere, producers, directors are being mentioned.
Yeah.
But the searchlight is not on them. Their credibility is on the line. We have to question them. They have questions to answer, and I think that it is important we really put them on the spot.
Sure.
These are the things being said about you. What do you have to say? When we do that, we are empowering the victims and survivors to also have a voice. But if we leave them to their own voices that have been muted for many years, thinking about what they are going through, the help that they need, they've been battered. It's not going to be easy.
Doc, please let me come in here. I think these producers, most of them are male, right? They are men.
A lot of them.
In this part of the world, the men are not really bothered about these things. Okay. Just like Whitney said, when you come out to say these things, these are men. Society allows them to do whatever they want to do.
It is not true.
Not
true. It is not
if
true.
you're a woman and you complain about being raped, they'll ask you, what did you wear? Why did you go there?
No,
It
is not, Bobby. It is not.
And that is why the narrative must change.
It is still happening.
Well,
You cited a good example of something happened where a young lady took somebody she was in a relationship with at work to Shraj and all that.
Yes.
Have you not read, seen, heard how she's been bastardized because of what she did?
I don't think she has been bastardized because of what she did. Like I said, that is the only case reported that I have read. She took a very bold step.
Yeah.
And out of that, the company, I think, even wound up also because it
Yes,
became.
it's a public.
It became a very big thing.
Fan air. It can be
Yes,
mentioned.
yes. It wound up because your whole majority shareholder and CEO accused of something like this, and she was bold enough. It affected. She made money. I'm not saying it is the money, but I used the example to let you know that
it's
somebody has done it.
So it can be done.
And so it can be done.
Yeah.
And I'm saying if your worry is going to the police or starting a case, go to Shraj.
Yeah.
Shraj would investigate. They won't take money from you.
But like Doc said, it's easy for me, you and everybody here sitting to say that go here, take this action until you are in the person's shoes.
That is why I said, sorry to cut you, if you have a senior person like Auntie Akofa saying it, and she says that, okay, from now, because when you started talking, somebody has sent you and mentioned names. And she's sure of what she's saying. And she's saying, do your own investigations. Imagine Auntie Akofa reaching out to these people and saying, come, I will lead the charge. I will not mention your names. I will go, because Shraj is supposed to keep all these things confidential and do their own investigations. And when they are sure that there is an iota or scintilla of evidence what they are saying, they'll take the person on and they'll keep everything or everybody confidential. It is the person that they would, if they come out with their they finish, they will let you know this is the award, you must pay XYZ. If you decide not to pay, then they will go to court.
Okay.
Now, the last thing I wanted to say on the solutions.
Yeah.
Again, coming back to like the Actors Guild, which is the only form of union you have on paper. Assuming they have a pact, because the producers and the directors also have their own.
They have theirs.
Their union.
Yeah.
Yes.
5-pack, yeah.
That they will sign an undertaking with the Actors Guild eschewing this sexual harassment. It will be signed. That the moment any actress or actor, because like we said, our brothers also suffer sometimes, complains that you have attempted to or sexually harassed him or her, then they are going to blacklist you. Then they will not go after the producers or the directors. So is it possible that the Actors Guild or the leadership of the Actors Guild put together a pact between them and the leadership of the producers and directors?
That would have been an ideal
Then
situation.
they would sign it and say that all your members are undertaking that they will desist from ABC. At least we must start from somewhere. Because once they put it in writing, it becomes written, it becomes binding. Secondly, is it possible it is put on every movie set, that sexual harassment is not encouraged on this set? Is it possible?
Yeah.
That is done. Those are some of the things that we can champion to ensure that at least it is in their faces. I'm not saying that it will completely take it away, but at least if you have those things in the person's face and the person still goes ahead to do it, then you know you are dealing with an extraordinary case.
Sexual harassment involves just hugging someone without their consent.
Pardon?
Just hugging someone
by law. Yes,
it says it is part of it.
Bobby needs to spend like a month in on a
Bobby.
No, that is what I'm saying. That if as long as it is not welcome. So if the person hacks you, and you tell the person, listen, I know you didn't know, but I don't like it. Let's not let it not happen again, and it happens again. It's sexual harassment. Maybe the person may overestimate the relationship between you and the person. So I've seen Whitney here today. We're on this set. We are talking nice. Tomorrow I go to another event. Hey, how are you? I'm overestimating the relationship I have with her. You're like, hey, dude, I don't do that. And I say, oh, what's up? It's sexual harassment.
Wow.
But if I do it and she also welcomes, hey, long time, then she has welcomed it. So the emphasis is whether or not the remarks, the conduct was welcome. Simply
if
saying that.
If I'm kissing in a scene and the guy puts his tongue in my mouth, is it sexual harassment?
Hey, now we
now we get it.
So you
now we are getting into the gray area.
Before you took into the, that is what I'm saying. Yeah. That before you took the role, did you make it very clear the extent or the limit of the role that you are playing
in your contract?
Because yes, they will give you the script. So if you made it very clear that this and this and this is what I want to do, this and this and this is what I'm hoping to do, and the person, let me tell you something. I don't know how graphic we can get on your show.
You can't get to.
I can get.
You can't.
I can't.
You can.
Oh, no,
two.
Okay, so I'm going to use the example of rape.
Massage the words.
Of rape.
Okay.
Okay. In our laws, rape can happen even after the sexual intercourse has started. Are you aware?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Rape can even happen, and I have to be careful.
Be careful.
During the act.
During the act,
Yeah.
if the woman says that, don't
I'm okay.
discharge into me.
Yeah.
Yes.
As married couples too.
No. Of course.
That's
If the woman says that, don't discharge into me.
that's so unfair.
So there's no rape in marriage.
No, there could be rape in marriage. There's rape in marriage. I'm just saying that
quoting
the
the law.
consent can be withdrawn at any stage.
Did you hear Kwame?
Some men have medical conditions.
if at a point you may have given your consent from the beginning, but as it goes along, you can decide to say, I've changed my mind. The man cannot say that, hey, at this stage, I cannot stop it.
Can we amend the law?
It becomes rape. And so the sex,
that is the law.
We take these things for granted, but if
we
want to take it as detailed as it should be and start really holding people to
accountable
to it, we only need 1, 2, 3, and everybody will sit up. Hey, it actually happens. It actually happens. So you can get the pact to be signed. You can decide to say that as women, actress, you are not going on any set unless the producer and the director and even the male actors, if you are saying that you want to be sure they will not go beyond, have signed a pact with your guild.
Okay.
All right.
And there is a display.
I want to bring you in, but I want to finish.
There's a display of
with
no sexual harassment welcomed on this stage or on this set. We can start from there.
Yeah.
And see how far it will go.
Yeah. Okay, let me still dwell on this lady who sent us the voice note. Now, in her case, when she first went to the director's or producer's office and he was touching her here and there, do you think at that point in time she should have gone to report that act?
Yes, that act constituted sexual harassment.
Wow.
In fact, if I heard her right, she said the man even went beyond and placed his hands and touched. It even goes beyond sexual harassment. It becomes rape.
Really?
Yes.
Without
yes. Rape is not necessarily when you know
penetration.
Yes. Rape is not only penetration. Our Supreme Court judges have explained it. It is not only penetration.
Wow.
Yes, you don't have to penetrate for there to be rape. And so at that point, it becomes rape. Now, the interesting thing is, when she went back for the role, and she said, now I have given in, what is that? Because there are a lot of women who say that, okay, the first day, I didn't accept it. Then I went to think about it. Then I went back and I accepted it. And I did it.
Yes. But even before that, what does she have to prove that really this happened in the office?
You know,
how do you prove it? Because this is her words against the no
that
camera,
is
no
what,
video
that is
evidence.
I'm saying that, of course, the basic notion or law is he who asserts must prove.
Yes.
The burden would be on you to provide evidence.
Okay.
That it actually happened. Now, the provision of evidence is very difficult if you are an individual because you may not have the state resources to do it. That is why I'm suggesting that you can go to Shraj.
And they can do it.
Shraj can investigate on your behalf. They can do the necessary... like I said, you cannot... If I am a victim, maybe the man took me to a hotel and I need to provide evidence. I cannot on my own go to the hotel to say, provide me with your logbook to show whether this person came.
Yeah.
Because every hotel, worth its salt, should have cameras. So let me see your CCTV. I cannot do that. And if I'm going to civil action, I will not have that evidence. But if I go to Shraj, Shraj can go to that hotel and request for those documents. Now, when there is, in law, we call something prima facie evidence. So if Shraj is able to gather evidence that, okay, on this date, you were in this hotel, you invited this lady, she came into the room from the CCTV cameras, from the login books. What happened in the room?
But Bobby, this is on set.
Okay, no. In this, no, I'm talking about this particular instance. This one.
She said it was on set.
No, she went for an auditioning.
Auditioning.
Yeah.
So what happened? Now, when they ask you what happened, you must explain that, okay, she came in, we sat down. Okay, did you give her the role? No. Why didn't you give her the role? The Shraj investigators are trained to be able to deduce whatever evidence they need.
Wow.
I'm not saying every allegation of sexual assault is true.
Okay.
Because we also know of situations where people will intentionally throw things at men to get whatever they want. So I'm not saying that every allegation of sexual assault is true.
But Kwame, in the case where, so the first instance where she was touched inappropriately and all that, she had a case.
Yeah.
But in the case where she's gone
subsequently,
yes, and now come back to offer herself as a living sacrifice.
Yeah, he was going there.
So what happens then?
Go there now for me.
Push a case of doing it and undue influence.
Huh?
Undue influence.
Undue influence.
Yes, and it's in
but
our
at
law.
that point in time, she got convinced that she had to go in and then do it.
Let me explain.
There is a relationship.
Let me explain. Now, where somebody, and sexual harassment normally happens between somebody who is in a superior authority, somebody who is in a lower authority. The test is whether or not you were vulnerable at that time.
Okay.
Because you see, like I said, it must be welcomed or you must have given your consent. If the quality of your consent is vitiated by economic factors. So we have situations where armed robbers go to a house. They tell the man, if you don't want us to kill you, tell your wife to allow us to sleep with her. The woman would say, don't kill my husband. Come and do it and walk away. She has volunteered, but it was under duress. And the duress is not only putting gun on your head. It could be economic factors. So the director, the producer knows very well that Bobby Bansin needs this money to go and pay his school fees. If I'll tell him, this is 10,000 cedis. If you want to take it, let me get into your pants. At that point, I am taking it only on the economic condition.
Wow.
It is undue influence. And it is accepted in law.
Wow.
It is as if you are being asked to sign a contract with an amount that you know is far less than what you're entitled to. But the people know that you need that amount to be able to achieve a certain aim at that point. The law allows you to take the money. Immediately you take it, you go and report.
Hey!
Wow.
Yes.
But
that is the nature of the influence.
We have missed opportunities.
That is the wrong. And so if the quality of your consent, so the lady who went back to tell him that, listen, you know that I wouldn't have done it under normal circumstances.
Yes.
But because my mother is in the hospital, I'm using as an example, I need that 5,000 cedis. So just do it. Give me that 5,000 cedis and I go. She's telling you that her consent is being vitiated by economic conditions.
But is that still not a consent?
That is what I'm saying, that the quality of the consent really matters.
Wow.
Because you as a director and your producer, you should ask yourself whether if this woman, if she didn't need this money, was she going to give herself?
But Bobby, in our dear lady's case, she needed the role. She wants to act.
Yeah.
So this one has no economic.
Does it not have?
But you can stretch it.
Yeah,
you can stretch. Okay.
And again, if I may come in.
Okay.
Yes.
You know,
let me go to Dr. McQueen.
Currently, the way the UN frames it is not only sexual harassment, it's sexual exploitation and abuse.
Exploitation
In there.
Okay.
And it's classic case of exploitation, because you are exploiting one's vulnerable position to your own advantage. And anybody in a position of authority has a responsibility. You should know better. Okay, that power dynamic is a form of abuse of power.
Yeah.
And if you are the CEO, you are the director, you are in a position of authority, and you must manage that very well. Beyond the legal remit, you have an ethical responsibility. That is why it is important. I'm coming back to how do you get pragmatic and intervene? Knowledge is very important.
Yeah.
We are proposing, let us agree on this. How will that happen? It will happen only when the Actors Guild realize that, no, our members are being taken advantage of, and we need to first and foremost acquire knowledge. Train ourselves. Develop policies and guidelines for the role we play. It's not just going after the money. Are you safe in the industry that you are operating? And if you don't acquire that form of knowledge, you will continuously be taken advantage of. It will take some form of negotiation to even go with the producers. This is what we are bringing to the table. Well, they may say that now you don't need talent. It is not true. The market will let them go back to talent.
It will expose you.
That's what I'm saying.
It will expose you. So it is important for the actors themselves to know what they are going through. And I think that, how did the Me Too movement start in the US? Not any formal institution or association. No. So Vicky goes to town, this is what I'm going through. She gets the support. Lawyers are volunteering. Psychologists are helping
the support.
Other people are coming in. Then it will motivate other people. Me too. They did it to me. Me too. They did it to me. Me too. And you will see a massive mobilization that begins to hold people in authority accountable.
Wow. The question is, yes, Vicky.
Sit here and make it look like we haven't done anything over
At
the
all.
years.
Oh, you have. You've tried.
See, personally, I campaigned against domestic violence.
Yes, I
and
remember.
I had some of my colleagues come to me. They told me that they had been harassed by ABC people, but I shouldn't make it public. So people hide. The only time most of them come out is when they are being deprived of what they were promised.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay.
But once they get,
when there is breach of contract,
once they get what they are due, they don't want it to be out there. They feel the pain, they go through the emotional stress and everything, but they don't want it out there because at the end of the day, I got what I went for. But he took advantage of me anyway.
But why do they come out to almost always complain? Then it means something must be done, and that is why we're here. Let me go to you, Bobby, again. So, with Our Lady's issue still there, now she had a role. She had a role. Finally, played lead roles and all that. That is benefit to her. Why do you take the director on?
Well,
you've gotten the role at the end of the day.
We didn't get the details of the second and third situation.
We didn't, but
the first situation for me I still think that she would have a basis to contend. And you know, crime does not expire.
Why is that?
There's no expiration date for crime. So even if the thing happened 20 years ago, Bill Cosby's case, some of them happened before we were born.
Many years.
And you see, unfortunately, Bobby,
so many years.
That is very important. What you just said, crime does not expire, because you find situations where if Vicky should come out now to say that, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, this happened to me. You know what society? Why have you sat and waited all this
Even
time?
Akofa's issue, I saw so many comments.
Akofa, yes, when Akofa said it.
At your age?
Why now?
Yes.
You know,
yes.
I have stopped. This is personal, but in your space, maybe you cannot do with it. I have come to accept that actually a lot of people who pass such comments on social media are really people who don't think, not even the law.
Ignorant.
Yes, they are very ignorant. And you'll be surprised how many more will support your situation but do not use the social media avenue. So I don't really judge societal or,
But there are more. The ignorant ones.
Oh, yes.
A lot of them.
Besides the media
of
space, a lot of people contact us based on our following and the comments under our posts.
That's what I'm saying. In your space, you cannot do without it. You would have to stay with it. But if you have a situation, crime does not expire, the lady can always go back and say that the quality of her consent was vitiated by XYZ factors. You went first, the man says that I won't give it to you unless, and you needed it. You had to go, made him know that the only reason why you are doing it is because of A, B, C, D. And it doesn't matter whether it happens 100 years ago or 50 years ago, it is still actionable. Like I said, if we would see something arise out of this talks, it has to start with the victims. It has to start with them. Shraj cannot, and I keep repeating Shraj because they did an excellent work in that case. And it's reported. So Shraj, after this show, cannot call Auntie Akofa and say, hey, we heard on Joy that you said so and so. Can you come and
She has to go.
You have to go there. And if they don't know that the office is the old Parliament House, just before the Supreme Court. I don't work there, so I can say that for free. And I'm not going to benefit in any way. You can go there. It's very confidential. They have highly trained people, trained even with the medical aspect to come in. It's a full, you'll be surprised the kind of work they do there at Shraj.
But I'm glad you said crime does not expire.
Yeah, Doc,
this is important.
Let me come to you. As a psychologist,
right?
If you're to enter into the mind of this lady, what do you think she would be going through now?
It's a very terrible experience for her to start with. We have made a point here that sexual harassment is a violation of dignity. So already she's out there questioning her dignity, has been trampled upon, and is suffering in silence. Right apart from that, the incident would always give her jitters.
Yeah.
She would be having flashbacks. Now, she went out of town. Do we know why? She would have been depressed. Nobody knows. Should have become socially withdrawn.
Yeah. She said it. She was depressed.
Yeah. So, it has serious repercussions. Medical, psychological, economic. What we are talking about. People have become so withdrawn, they have committed suicide. It is not something easy we are talking about. And I think that we need to pay it all the serious attention that it needs. So there are personal costs to victims. Well, organizations should not say they are free in terms of the effects, because serious damages will come their way.
Yeah.
To collapse their institutions, because they are liable also for creating a hostile environment for harassment to happen. If you allow the organization that you lead to create hostile environment that facilitate harassment, you are liable to.
Wow.
Yes. And the matter of evidence. Okay, so for instance, you went in there for the first time. When you got out, definitely you will, confide in someone. You are leaving a footprint, sort of. Because in that state, somebody will see you in a particular state and make a mental note. So that person could become a witness when you go to church, for instance. And once you have knowledge, you begin to know that, hey, these things are real. You cannot just say I'm participating in the creative sector and not be conscious of the dangers confronting you. And so if the place is so, harassment is so prevalent there, and you want to go there, you need to be very much aware and also find ways and means to protect yourself. That is your responsibility. Am I going to allow myself to be exploited? Yes, I want the role. So how am I going to? In this day and age of technology, I don't need to tell you what to do. I don't need to tell you what to do. Because, yes, recently there's a story, an employee, contacted me, reported harassment. And at the time, she was fully pregnant, and it was terrible. So we went through the motions. I helped her, and then she got better. And later went to Shraj. The matter went to Shraj. There is a report on that. Shraj couldn't find the suspect, liable because there was no evidence. Once again, there was no evidence. Though everything, the report I did pointed to the fact that this person has suffered some form of harassment. My report cannot establish
exactly
the cause,
the cause,
the source.
Unfortunately for this young lady, the phone she has some recordings. She had lost the phone, and on that basis alone, Shraj couldn't prove her case for her. But she got the emotional support she needed. But the case is not. I will get you the report.
Yeah.
A layman reading the report, I still felt that no, something could have been done about it. Because if you could say that you couldn't establish the case, but you found the setup hostile, that there's some form of liability in there.
Against the company.
Because eventually, you know what, the lady lost her job.
Because she went to Shraj?
Not because she went, because she reported.
So
they are
in that situation,
they are real dangers.
So in those situations, the court has held that then it becomes an unfair termination.
Yeah.
And so she'll be entitled to, because they know that there are situations where if you go and report and the employer would find a way to terminate, the courts have set it very clear that if you do that, it's unfair termination. Then the victim or the person who came to report would be entitled to. Because if you see now, just to chip in, I have noticed in the past 4 years, a lot of the multinationals that are setting up in Ghana, offices in Ghana, they have a whistleblowing department.
Right.
That goes direct to the head office.
Okay.
So, for example, Company X comes to set up a local office in Ghana. In your employment contract, you give your email address, whatever. Before you realize, they'll send you an email from the head office that this is the link or the line if there's any form of sexual harassment, bribery, or corruption.
Report
it directly to the head of. Why? Because there's a law in America, there's a law in London that does not only bind the companies there, it binds all their subsidiaries.
Everywhere in the world.
Everywhere. So as part of your corporate governance and social ethics, you must satisfy the reporting requirements there. That even if you have a company in Ghana, you have opened those channels. So that if I work with Company X and I feel that I'm being sexually harassed, I need not report to my boss here. or to any, I go straight there. They will take it up from a lawyer here or a team of investigators investigate internally. Like we said, the image is not only against the person who did it or who is alleged to have conducted himself in that way, but the image is against the company. That is why I said if the directors and the producers have a union or an entity, get the union to sign an undertaking and put some of these things there so that they as a union would also say, hey, we do not want you to be part of us if there's an allegation on you that you've been engaging in ABC. We will suspend you. After all, don't you have the guilds or those people suspending actors and actors? I've read some, they say somebody has insulted.
5-pack. 5-pack days, Yvonne Nelson.
Some producer.
They've
insulted some directors, so they are suspending them. Why don't they get the why don't they say we will boycott you, this producer? We will boycott you because our members are complaining.
They'll tell you lions do not eat lions.
That is why we are where we are.
Quickly, I'll go on the phone lines now. But Doc, let me ask you this question. So, in the event that you go report the case and then you find yourself now unemployed, you'd have some psychological,
Indeed.
Exactly.
Indeed.
So let me ask, before you even embark on that journey, how do you empower yourself against such outcomes?
Yes, you have a personal responsibility. We intervene at two levels, at the personal level and the institutional level. The institution must do something to prevent and clean its environment. But you, the survivor, has a responsibility to heal.
Do you need any professional help?
You need a professional
prior to that
help.
action?
You need support. You need people who can support you. And support group is very important. That is why training is extremely important. Policies are very important. But as an individual survivor, you have a responsibility to seek help to heal. To seek help to heal. And there are support systems available for victims who want to get.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Joy 99.7 FM. This afternoon, we are discussing sexual harassment in the creative industry. We've listened to an account shared by one of our listeners, an actress, and she made mention of how she suffered in the film industry in the hands of directors, producers, the sleeping with her before giving her roles in the film industry. Now, some of your thoughts in here. This one says, good afternoon, Kwame Dazi. What am I hearing? She gave in for playing a role in film acting? Chai! GHY. Is it done outside Ghana too? Yes. Hey, Asemo from Koko Mante, Awudome Estate. Okay. This one from the taxpayer. The moment you give in, it will continue, sorry. So, because these producers are like a cult and they broadcast among themselves. So the next will demand and it might never stop. So don't start to begin with. You might lose the gig, but you keep your sanity and keep trying. A classic case in the US was what happened with Rupert Murdoch's Fox News. The CEO was harassing the women news anchors sexually, and one of them was bold enough to take him on. Other women came out, and Murdoch paid them compensation and fired the CEO. It was made into a movie, Bombshell, starring Charlize Theron and other big actresses. So these are some of your messages. You can send in more here on Joe 99.7 FM. Showbiz 800-5511-11997. Yes, I think this is a message for the earlier conversation. Say it loud. You can call into the show right now. 030 2216 541 030 2216 541. Call in now and share your thoughts with us right here on the show. We're talking about sexual harassment in the industry. We have with us today Whitney Boachi Mensah, event executive. We have Dr. Adolf Ewuku-Bekwin, who is a clinical psychologist. Also in the studio is Bobby Banson, lead consultant, Robert Smith Law Group, and then Vicky Zuga is actress. Let's go on the phone lines now and speak to this listener.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm well. How about you?
No, I'm just asking.
Yes, let's hear your name and where you're calling from.
Nana.
Okay, Nana, let's hear you. What do you have to say about this topic?
I'm just asking. I mean, how did we get here? Me, I traced it way down to the conditioning of us as children. See, when you are a child, maybe none of the men in the school might not have met it before. When you are a child and you are growing up, what we are told mostly is work hard, you get the resources, and you can get any woman you want. Am I lying? Have I heard this before?
Some people have that opinion.
No, come in. See, it goes way back. You see, and it contributes to some of the things that we experience right now. Because these men grow up, they end up in positions, and the thing is just to take because the resources is at their disposal. We might not agree entirely, but look, it is real. It is real. The kind of things we tell this our boys today. We've raised in discipline sexually boys into men. And through our practices here, through our culture, through our religion, through our tradition, we've raised responsible, disciplined men. We keep challenging them. And it is true, Kwame. It is true. Why the man thinks that the fact that he's a man, he can have it. And society has normalized it. How? What does the society practice? Is it not the same religion? Is it not the same culture? Is it not the same tradition? Do you understand? There's everything wrong. The solution we need is not just going to strike. That is secondary. Let's start from the ground. Our children, we should let them understand that, look, this thing is not yours to take. The fact that you have the resources does not give you the license to do with as you please with anybody.
Great one there. Thank you very much for your call there. Let's take another one still here. 03022165541.
Hello?
Yes, hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Your name and where you calling from?
I'm Steven. I'm calling from Ashaiman.
Okay, let's hear you. What do you have to say?
Yeah, I think it's a very important topic to talk about, and it's something that has been talked about on air several occasions, but then no action. So for me, I think action should be taken. From the story of the actress, it's very pathetic. I don't know how she'll be feeling now, the kind of struggle she's going through emotionally and then even physically. But I think action should be taken instead of the too much talk. Like, it's becoming too normal in the industry. But if one example is not taken, one action, one step is not taken, it will just continue like that over and over again. So I think somebody, and according to what Bobby said, the organization, the Actors Guild, the Producers Guild, there has to be something. And it's not even in the movie industry alone, even in the music industry. A lot of women are also going through that, where people want to take advantage of them before they give them the opportunity, even media people. So, I mean, action should be taken from you people who are in the media space. You can also take up one of those cases, and then let an action be taken so that people will be scared to do some of those things. When they see that their reputation will be at stake, their where they are eating will be at stake. I mean, people will they will sit up. There are too many of these already, and then it's becoming too normal. So that's my only
Thank you
opinion.
very much for your call. Let's take the next caller. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, who's on my line?
Good afternoon, Kwame.
Good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
This is Babs calling from Belenki.
Okay. What do you have to say about this particular topic?
This is a very interesting topic. But first of all, this industry, showbiz industry, is an industry where money talks. This thing happens most of the time in our outside world. Just like, let's say, for instance, Hollywood. But now we are seeing it in our country. Like I'm saying, it's a very big industry where money talks. But what I want to say is, for a starter, a young lady who wants to follow her dreams, most of the time they are being influenced by friends. This is a young lady who wants to follow her dreams as an what? Actor. She goes, the producer tried to tempt her, she refused. The next thing will be what? Money. He will show her money that she has never seen before. So, for instance, like that lady who made the voicemail, this is a situation where, for the second thought, she should have what? Consulted her parents. This is what I want to do. This is what happened. But most of the time, they don't consult their parents. They go back to their friends. And that is the situation where the friends will influence you. That, okay, it's about money. Just go and get the money, grab it. So most of the time, they get influenced by friends, especially when that friend is a bad friend. Because maybe she has been tempted before and she has got money. So that's where they always push the good ones. Go and grab the money. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Okay, thank you for your call. Yes, so still right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Do we have some more calls? Yeah, you can also call in now, 03022165541, and we are discussing the issue of sexual harassment in the creative art industry. So many stories now. How do we take action? You can call in now and share your thoughts with us at 03022165541. Now, let me come in-house again and let me speak to you, Whitney. So the last caller mentioned parental control, if you like, and the fact that the lady didn't even go back to the parents or go to the parents to seek the advice on what to do in that situation, but rather went to the friends. Do you think parents have a role to play in here? This is an adult. She's old enough to live a life and make decisions. And yes, what if the friend actually gave her some good deal? Friends are there to help us, right?
When it comes to the issue of parenting and raising your children and how societal views and norms are changing, I always tell people that it's sometimes you feel you're raising your children on the right path. You're giving them all that life values that they need for this world.
Yeah.
But bear in mind that you are no island. Mm-hmm. You're raising your children same way somebody else is raising their child. And we all have different norms and views in our society. It's unfortunate that the way we were raised, we actually think that we were better off when a lot of the times we were taught to internalize things.
Okay.
So we cannot even say, for fear of how even our parents, I know parents who have believed outsiders over their children when their children had told them that I am being sexually molested or harassed by this family friend. So a lot, and most of the times, this thing starts even within the community.
Okay.
A lot of rape cases you see happening, most of the time they are not strangers. They are people that they live with. Sadly, for even boys, I am very passionate when it comes to boys because I'm a mother of boys. And I see how a lot of times most boys are sexually molested by house elves and stuff. And society turns it so they cannot even talk about it. They see it as it's a privilege to have even gotten to that situation to do that.
Yeah.
And we need to change that. Our children should be able to tell us anything and everything without first judging them.
Okay.
Because as soon as, and most of the time, I am one of those people who I have gotten to a position where I keep asking myself, at this age, how did you want to be treated like? in parenting before I jump onto being a parent. So it makes me make a better decision when I am even going to reprimand or talk about something. Because as soon as they feel first time you didn't believe them, that's it for you. They won't come again. And that is where we need to, when I hear people say that your children cannot be your friends, I get scared. You should be a parent, but they should also know that I have somebody I can wholeheartedly tell when something like this is happening to me. And I know that they will stand on their words with me. The girl said, and I am glad she said, even when it had happened, she said, I had to run home to my mom outside Accra. Because that was, you see, that is where comfort, when she thinks of her mom, it is comfort.
She went home.
It is solace. It is her safe space. So she ran back there. We should make that possible, because unfortunately you are raising children who are getting everything quickly on their hands before you even know some of the things they know.
But do you know there are parents who actually encourage some of these things?
Coming there.
Okay.
And then there are also the children we are raising. All of us here may be parents. We are raising children in a certain way, but our children also live in a society, go to school, mingle with children whose parents will not even, Kwame, I had a parent who every day after school, my brother and I used to ask, doesn't she have anything to do? We'll go through your bag. So when she sees something that she hadn't bought for you, that she knows it doesn't come from her house, you're going to answer for that. Even when you tell her that, oh, this person gifted it to me. My mom had numbers of every parent. She was going to call and ask, oh, did you give my daughter this? Thank you very much. Did you give my son this? Thank you very much for giving it to them. So you couldn't bring anything that you knew that it would get you into trouble. I was working, I was living on my own old enough. Somebody wanted to buy me a car. I had to ask permission. Oh, this person wants to buy me a car.
Yeah.
For what? For why? For who? This. But I was old enough. I was able to answer that. Oh, it work and all that. But you know your child is making this amount of money. You know your child just left school. Your child is living in an apartment where
he or she is bringing money home.
Yes, and you are
breadwinner.
You are not questioning. You have failed. You both have failed yourselves. But also, Bobby said it. Economy. Our economy is number one drive to a lot of silly things that we do in our society. The person is not getting 3 square meals. They've come across somebody who is an angel, a savior, and you are saying that they shouldn't benefit from that. Secondly, we also have a society where, I said this last week, a lot of people want the soft life without the work in the soft life.
Soft life is soft.
So
it's supposed to be soft.
And a lot of people want easy wealth. And we have given ourselves timelines for everything. I am out of school. I need to get this. I need to get that. So that is also there. Then there is also the fact that as gatekeepers, as older sisters, as mentors, we are not telling the truth to them. And we are showing a certain kind of lifestyle to them. So they assume that this is how it is made. I keep telling you that there are times young impressionable girls have come. They want to do protocol services, and they are amazed that it's work that we work, because they are coming with a certain mentality. So when they come and you are putting the work in, they are like, but what is happening? When does the real action start, so that I can get my piece of the cake? So it is on all of us. It is on all of us, because most of the time, the reason why some of these ladies are even doing these things with the directors is not because they want to, acting is their passion, but it is because they want a means to an end where they can be popular. Because now popularity is what we adore in this country. We make every Tom, Dick, and Harry who is stupid, and I am not taking that back. There are so many stupid things online we make heroes out of in this country. that you ask yourself what kind of people we are. Every silly thing, the next thing you see, the person has become a celebrity. We've put that tag of celebrity on that person. Every silly thing.
An influencer.
Every silly thing, we are putting tags of celebrity on them. And these impressionable young ones are seeing it. So as soon as they see it, they also think that if she did that stupid act and she's gotten the numbers, now we are calling them into mentoring sections, motivational speakers. And they are sitting in public places giving jazz. Don't tell me to stop it. Let me say it as it is.
I'm not saying stop, but calm down.
Motivational talk to impressionable young girls. Yeah. I saw one that I got hurt. When a girl in a school asked her, so how did you get to this position where you have this business, you have that business? Then the person opened her mouth and said that, oh, at 12 midnight, I strip naked and I say everything I want to say to God. Then I talk to my boyfriend. I nearly sank in my seat. These are the people that we make celebrities out of, and we make motivational speakers out of, and they go and tell the impressionable young girls that it is easy to make it as soon as you leave school. So when a producer is telling them that let's play ball, because they know that they also want to be known, not for anything but just to be popular, no substance, nothing, then they also go and play ball. So it bemoans on all of us.
Wow, Whitney, watch it, Mensa. You hit up. I was scared you would go to Mimi's side. So, lawyer Bobby Bunsen, I understand you have other engagements. So you let me finish with you. So this lady who sent us the voice note, if you were to give her legal advice, what would that be?
She should get psychological help. It's not legal advice. But before she is able to take any legal steps, she must be in the right frame of mind. Yeah. She should get psychological help because she would have to be in the right frame of mind before she takes any legal step. And so I think that is very, very important.
So the first step is
psychological she should be in the right frame of mind to be able to pursue her legal remedy. So she should definitely get psychological help. Then I would suggest she can go to Shraj.
Okay.
And start from there. The reason I always recommend Shraj is one, you don't pay them. Two, it's a one-stop thing. You go there, every aspect of the case is dealt with. Three, they have the cohesive force of the state behind them. So they can require, for example, Shraj can write to a telecom, for example, if you lose your phone, let me put it that way, and you say that, oh, I had WhatsApp correspondence, I had phone calls, I had this with this person. Shraj can request the service provider to provide those evidence. So they have the cohesive force of the state. And once it does that, I'm sure that at least, sometimes taking legal step is not necessarily for you to win.
But
it's to give you closure.
Okay.
The fact that you actually were bold enough to put all your efforts in it to attempt to get a remedy, to see the accused person shake in the witness. Kwame, let me tell you something. No matter how big you think you are, there's a way court and police can humble you. I'm telling you, you can be on air in the behind social media and make all. When you stand before a court, or they are taking you to counterback, or Shraj is telling you receive a letter from Shraj, and you open it, you must be a very hardened criminal not to shake. So the satisfaction of a victim seeing the accused person or her offender sweats there cannot be compensated for money, because this is somebody who hitherto was telling you can't do me foco.
I
but
can now
do whatever I want to do.
He has been focoed.
And then now you see the person shaking and forgetting his name even. It's a whole closure on its own. So that may help. I want to touch on what Whitney said.
Okay, the parenting.
It's something that I told you I have 5 sisters. The last one in secondary school, she came back and I was asking, like, what happened this term. She told me, oh, motivational. They came, they did blah, blah, blah. I said, who? when she mentioned the name, I almost cried.
What name did she mention?
Oh, I can't say. Because this is somebody that I have spoken to in other circles and cannot construct 4 or 5 correct sentences without bringing in pidgin or something.
But if she can still communicate.
Social media, no, you see, that's what she's saying. It's not about, I'm not against, you always argue with me that why don't I have social media presence?
Yes.
You always argue with me, you're not on Twitter. So he forced me to actually open an account because I was going to do Twitter Spaces.
Yeah.
And said you must be on it. Instagram. So he tell you have to open. Just you go and read what people do there. Because I have seen that you go there and most of the people there do not care about the substance.
Okay.
It's only for the likes. Yeah. It's
for the
only
comment
for this.
engagement.
That's why I said that I don't measure the atmosphere in the country based on Twitter. Trust me. I do not. Because people are hired to do what they do. People also say what they want to say for the likes, for the hypes, without the substance. And if we allow these people to lead the narrative of what it means to be a successful actress. What you see, the lady who sent the message, she mentioned 2 names. She said, apart from this person and that person that you see doing movies back to back, those who call themselves actors and you see them living lavish lifestyles, you should ask yourself, where do they get the money from? And these are people that the younger generation are being forced to look up to. And it is something that the media, the mainstream media, must also check. Because you, for example, will not just have anybody come and sit on your show
at all.
To say jazz.
It can't happen.
But do you have other colleagues having that? Some just want...
They will trend. That is
what I was going to say. They will just want the trend. So they will just let somebody come and sit there and say anything for the trend, forgetting the power that the media has over the youth, those outside there.
Wow.
You know, I'm very happy just to touch on this. Once again, I wouldn't want us to limit it to the just the
creative space.
Okay, we understand, but because it is our space, that is why we're dwelling on that.
You are picking signals from elsewhere.
Sure.
In this country, we don't do lifestyle audit.
Okay.
Across all sectors.
True.
So what are we talking about?
Special prosecutor is coming.
And we know overnight people are flaunting wealth.
They started with 2 Ghana cedis.
Yes.
To what?
And that is okay.
Of rice, yes.
And they are now hiring creatives.
And paying.
To
tell a different story.
So it is very systemic, and we need a national orientation in this regard across every sector, in church, everywhere, because we become idol worshippers, wealth, and there is something that is happening where we have erroneously we think that what you have is your worth. We've equated worth and wealth.
Okay.
So that you are worthy when you have so much wealth to show. No. What if you lose all that? And there are people who have lost it and they haven't been able to survive. Because who you are isn't really what you have. It's really your worth is who you are. Not anything you have materially. It is good to enjoy the comforts of life, but in no way defines your wealth. Your worth. WORTH.
Yeah, worth.
And this is something we must think about.
Sure.
And I think the responsibility isn't on young people. I get extremely worried when we put in all the blame on young people. Young people do not control certain spaces that direct how state affairs are run. They don't make laws. Laws are made for them. And those who are in position of authority, adults, exploit young people and ask them to do things, not for their own benefit, but for the benefit of their sponsors. And we must question that. in the creative space, this is happening. So, yes, we are talking about this narrow space, but the interlinkages are very real.
True.
And we cannot just overlook that.
Thank you, Doc.
There was a song that came out, very popular song, has a tagline of a word he used. I won't say it. And I banned that song from being played in my little house. Because if you have young ones thinking that life can be lived on a sponsor, then it's a problem.
Okay, thank you, lawyer. Before you take leave of us, this whole Manche and Obrafour case. I know you are the lead counsel. Before you leave,
you promised me.
Before you take leave of us here, then we get into the other side of the conversation. Please explain to us what really happened in court. Because we know that Manche sued Obrafour and Hammer for actually claiming that they own the Killer Cut blood. You know, Obrafour had actually sued Drake. Drake used Killer Cut blood in Oyohene remix, and then Manche was not happy with it because his voice was actually the one in question. And now he took Hammer and Obrafour to court, even asking Hammer to also relinquish all the works that he did with him to him, Manche. Please, as a lead counsel, you went to court a few days ago, and we hear that the case had actually been struck out.
You know, you are the only one who got me to say anything on this case.
I know, but just explain.
And after that,
one line,
when you put the line that you see in an interview with me,
I was fumbling.
People called me, other journalists said, but you gave interview to Kwame.
Oh no!
And we are asking you for interview. I said no.
Don't give them an interview.
I didn't give interview to Kwame. He only asked me to explain these words. And I did.
So explain just one line for our listeners. What's really happened? So it means the case is dead?
No. So I'll not go to the merits of the case.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is just for public education.
Okay.
Because as lawyers, we have some ethics that bound us. You cannot discuss an ongoing case. But because there's some closure on the first one,
okay,
I'll speak to it. So the writ was filed by Manche. He sued Obrafour and he sued Hammer in one writ.
Okay.
He's claiming against Obrafour for the Killer Cut work.
Okay.
And whatever comes, he said he gave his consent only to be used for that, but it doesn't mean it's for him. Now, against Hammer, he's claiming right for other works not related to the Killer Cut.
Okay.
So, for example, he's been in studio with Hammer, he claims.
Yeah.
So he's done other things that Hammer has not given to him.
Yeah.
And so you would see that the claims he's having against Obrafour is not necessarily the same to the claims he's having against Hammer. Even though between them there's only one denominator, which is the Killer Cut. But against Hammer, there are other things that Obrafour has got nothing to do with it.
Okay.
So when we were served with the writ, we went to court to argue that there's a huge, or that there was a technical. I don't want to use legalese.
Okay.
But in law, before you can join these different
claims
against different people, you need the permission of the court before you can file the writ.
Oh wow.
And they did not seek the permission of the court. And you would see that they had gone through processes. So they've spent almost, I think they started the case in July or something. So a lot of things. So when they served us, as lawyers, we must make sure that we comply with the law. So this is like if you're in a boxing match, it's like a technical knockout. It doesn't mean that the case is over. You can get technical knockout. If you're able to wake up
and come
then
back,
you can come and fight. But if they give you the technical, so the case is for like 12 rounds, they give you technical knockout and you're not able to stand up, then it means that you remain there. But if you're able to stand up and come, then you now come and do the real box to box, man to man. So it's not as if that we are saying that Manche's claim has been struck, like he doesn't have a case
at all.
Great. The writ he filed now has been set aside or struck out by the court. So as we speak, there's no case pending.
Okay.
So if he's able to wake up from the knockout, he can come and then start again.
Okay, so the 10,000 Ghana cedis, who is receiving that? Who is that being paid to?
So when again, for the purpose of education, I don't want to limit it to this one. When you go to court and the court makes a decision, the person against whom the court makes the decision may be required by the court to pay the cost of the action in favor of the person who wins. So when Manche's case was struck out, Obrafo has hired lawyers. He has paid lawyers. So the case is that reimburse him with the cost that he's paid the lawyers. And so the 10,000 cedis is to go to both Obrafo and Hammer, not to go to me personally. To go to Obrafo and Hammer. So they can decide to execute it, or they may decide to dash it to Manche. As in, they may decide to take the legal processes to collect the 10,000 cedis, which could include. It's okay. Let me leave it.
I know where you are going, but you don't want to. Okay, I will see you behind, and then I'll get that information. Thank you so much, lawyer Bobby Bansing.
Killer cut, blind. Killer cut. award tonight, we gather here to honor and celebrate individuals.
We celebrate the goodness in our humanity
and create more inclusive, compassionate, and thriving societies.
The overall winner, Isaac Ajawato.
In a land where dreams are often cradled in the arms of hope, there exists a league of unsung heroes. They are the silent architects of change, the torchbearers who illuminate paths where once there was only darkness. From the verdant stretches of our farms to the innovative labs of science, from the warm embrace of humanitarian aid to the simplest acts of kindness. These are the changemakers who sculpt the future of our nation, stitch by stitch. Unknown to them, their acts of selflessness have resonated across the land, stirring the hearts of many and sparking a movement of recognition and celebration. It's that time of the year again. Joy News proudly presents the Impact Makers Awards 2024. Join us in our quest to spot and honor those steadfast warriors who are remolding the destiny of our communities and our nation. This is your moment to nominate the unsung hero in your midst, the beacon of change whose story deserves to be told. To nominate your Impact Maker of the Year, send your entries to impact.makersawards@myjoyonline.com. Let's amplify their stories. The Joy News Impact Makers Awards, celebrating ordinary people making extraordinary impact.
Introducing Pick 4 from Game Park Games, the easiest lottery to play and win. Pick 4 numbers from 0 to 9 up to 3 times a day to become one of our daily winners. More moolah, more power. Play online at www.gameparkgames.com or dial *946# to play. Game Park Games is regulated by the National Lottery Authority, not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Pick 4 from Game Park Games. More moolah, more power.
Joy 99.7 FM, Showbiz A to Z, and we're still talking about sexual harassment in the industry, in the showbiz industry. Yes, that's the topic for today. We have in the studio Vicky Zuga. She's an actress. We also have Whitney Boache Mensah, who is an event executive here, talking about the experiences some people are going through in this industry. And so far, we've listened to a message that was sent to us last week. Yes, this was sent to us last week after our conversation with Akofa Ajiani and the other women in the studio. And this lady is complaining about a situation that she went through years ago when she wanted to be an actress. Yes, so we're coming back to talk about this, but in the meantime, let me have your attention for these announcements. So Big Chef Junior, the most entertaining and ultimate kids cooking show, is back. Join us this February as our talented young ones showcase their skills, creativity, and passion for cooking. Get ready for a delicious journey filled with fun challenges, tasty recipes, and big flavors. Don't miss out on the excitement as Big Chef Junior Season 3 brings the kitchen to life on Joy Prime, your ultimate TV experience. Big Chef Junior is brought to you by Indomie, Frito, Fortune Rice, Flora Tissue, Tasty Tom, Kiki Juice Drinks, Makana Markets, and Arome 3 Lions. Now, Nest of Ideas Consulting Limited brings you a master in customer service excellence. And it's a training for frontline executives and executive assistants. Now, if you take part in this, you're going to learn about understanding customer needs, effective communication skills, problem solving and decision making, time management and prioritization, professionalism and etiquette, among others. The date is 20th to 22nd February 2024. And the training cost is 2,000 Ghana cedis. Yeah? Now there's a special discount for 10 participants or more. So just visit or send your request or registration to info@nestofideas.net or nestofideas.net. Just go there for more information. Now tomorrow we'll be listening to Pentecost Hour by Pentecost Church. It comes your way with the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Eric Nyameche, on Joy 99.7 FM, 1:30 p.m. every Sunday. So tune in every Sunday at 1:30 as Apostle Nyameche brings you life transforming truth that nourishes the soul, ignites passion, and restores hope in the nations. The Church of Pentecost, we are possessing the nation for the Lord. All right, so still here talking about sexual harassment in the creative industry. But is it only against the women? Is it only done to the women? Do the men also suffer this? Yesterday when I posted this in a group, some of the men were complaining. They said, we need to be on this show together with the ladies. And we said, no, you wait. We will give you the opportunity to also come and tell your story. But let me ask Vicky, have you heard any man complain about being sexually harassed in the industry or elsewhere? Have you heard about that before?
Oh yes, men go through it a lot. But you see, in this part of the world, when a man comes out to speak about these things being done to him, he's labeled as a weak man. Like, as a man, why would you say a woman has raped or has harassed you sexually? A man should be able to take control, be in charge, be able to tell the woman what to do and not to lose guard like that, So men are not very vocal when it comes to these things, but yes, they do go through it.
With the same tangent, somebody was saying that, okay, so these actresses or these creatives, the females, the women, they may come to you dressed in a certain way to seduce you. So sometimes, according to these men, it's not the fault of the men to fall. There are times that the ladies intentionally set out to seduce them. Is that the case?
I condemn any act of sexual harassment, regardless of what the person is wearing or whatever the person says to you, because there are men that even if you're naked in front of them, they wouldn't touch you. Okay, they wouldn't harass you in that manner. So it's about self-discipline. It has got nothing to do with what she wore or where she came. Well, I condemn the act of you going in a hotel room, for instance, to receive a job appointment or to take a script from a producer. Because why would you go in a hotel room to start with?
You are taking a script and then you go away.
In a hotel room, there's a lobby, there's a restaurant. Why in the room?
Just take it and go away.
In the hotel room, don't go there. Don't go in there, because whatever happens there, you'll be held responsible. So don't go in the hotel room. Let him come out and meet you outside. If that's the only place you can meet him, then he should come out and meet you, even at the door. It's cool, but don't enter the room, because bedrooms are meant to sleep in. When you go there, I was about to speak to you. When you go there and he sleeps with you, for you to enter a bedroom, you know what you are going to do there. So don't enter there.
We don't only sleep. Don't
go in the hotel room to collect script.
You get it. A room is a room.
Take it outside the room. Don't enter the room.
That's advice.
What are you doing? What are you going for in the room that you can't take outside?
Yes, as a form of advice, but it doesn't in any way take anything away from the offense.
No, don't enter the hotel room.
Okay.
Especially advise it to be taken.
Okay. Okay. So for the men who are listening to us, those who were complaining yesterday that this whole case you guys are going to talk about, you see, it's against us because we think sometimes the women set out to really trap us. They want to put us into trouble, and they do that intentionally. I'm speaking for those men. It's not my opinion.
And most of the men like
Sammy
it.
Flex is
most of the men are happy about it, so they don't complain. But majority of them actually are not able to speak out because of stigmatization. I don't want to be labeled.
The whole idea of toxic masculinity, that I'm the man and I need to really show power. So you endure, you are unable to say anything when indeed you feel terrible about it. Because when you do not appear strong, you are ridiculed by your peers. By you, Charlie, you lose guard. And that in a way takes away from the kind of man you want to be, which is toxic, which is not helpful, which has its downside of leading you to do things that would not really empower you. And it has mental health implications for men.
Wow.
Seriously. The stresses, sometimes you do drugs simply because you're under so much stress you don't have anyone to talk to. You close from work. You are scared when everybody is going out because you are in there with your boss and you know what is coming at you. You are a driver. You are taking your boss somewhere and you know the demands on you. But you can't talk to anyone about it. You go and take some, one bottle and it leads to other things.
Yeah.
So yes, men are equally harassed. Even the men are harassed, but not in the same numbers as women. We must note that. Yes.
Okay. Whitney, talking about sexual harassment and the fact that some people think sometimes it's the women that trigger this whole phenomenon. You think they have a point?
You ever heard Deborah Cox's song Absolutely Not? Yes, that's my answer to it. I don't think that I don't think that, and yes, some people may have that that thought at the back of their mind that if I dress this way, I can get this kind of attention. But in the situation we are talking about, a lot of them sometimes a woman can be in a sackcloth and still get harassed by a man. It's something that is very. There are days when you even ask that why is somebody sleeping. I've heard it on Dry Times. House helps who do not even look, and it is because that is how the person is wired to think that the person is in my house, works in my house, so I can have that way with the person, and because I am I'm in a certain power and authority. And because of that, the person cannot even go and say anything.
Yeah.
But again, this situation where you're asking Vic about guys being harassed and all that, I remember sometime last year, an incident happened in one of our schools where a celebrity who should know better was literally humping a minor on stage at a show.
Okay, I remember.
And I raised concerns about this thing. Guess what? It was guys who were saying, but why are you making so much noise about it?
They'll say we are not complaining, no.
Yes. Why are you making so much noise about it?
Yeah.
Have we complained? Will you get if somebody like that puts you on stage and the person is humping you?
It's an honor.
But it's a serious situation. It's a serious situation. Yeah.
They will say it's an honor.
It's a serious situation, yet we make so much jokes out of things that should be extremely serious. It doesn't become serious again. Because I asked myself, had it been a little girl that was lying on stage and a guy was humping her like that, we will all be up in arms that it isn't right. So why can't we say same when it comes to guys? But it's the same you guys who will come and tell us that we haven't complained.
Forgive us, we do not know what we are doing.
We will start complaining.
Don't mind us.
We will start complaining. Let me cite 2 examples. So Kwame Eugene has in various interviews, even when he came here, said that the inspiration for his song Monica was when one fan on social media was sending him things in his DM, messages and pictures, nude pictures and all that. Then Pusha also wrote a book and talked about how some people were sending him nude photos and all that in his social media DMs. Don't you think some of these things actually put the men in a tight corner?
It puts them in a tight corner, but look at how they twisted it. It has become, Monica has become actually an entire nation song that people are gyrating and doing things with. So we don't see what is wrong with it until something happens. Somebody sends him something, he meets the person, and then something, it doesn't go as planned, becomes an issue. Then we realize that this is wrong. I have always not liked that tangent of interview he's gone on, and the song Monica in general, the way it describes and come and let's do this, our whole, it's you can't. And you see, that's another thing. I tend to be very selective what I am listening to when I'm even picking kids from school at prime times, because we don't censor anything. It's a hit song, so everybody is playing it as it is. Kids are listening. The next thing you see, parents are having kids party, and kids as young as 2, 3, 4, 5 are standing at party gyrating to it, and parents are, who should know better, are giving them funds, and they are, I mean, why are we, the people who should know better, even the ones sometimes leading the cause of some of these things? The first time I had a kids party, when the parents got home, 3 days later they called and they said the kids slept from like when we left the party till when we got home. Because what do kids like doing? Running around. It is not gyrating, no. We make them gyrate. If you do not play the songs there, they won't know. But it is because parent A is playing it, so the child hears it. Then next they are singing it to parent B's child, and then it goes around and it becomes something that, and you can, it's on all over social media.
Sure.
If people actually putting out there, their children dancing to these things, and the words, I asked, do you listen to the words? But if something had gone wrong with this Monica and it had turned the other way around, by now we'll be sitting here discussing things. Bobby is gone. What is the implication of the law with all this and that? It's sometimes very hard to talk for you guys, because you make issues it becomes very silly, and it is not right.
But I don't want us to blame it on guys.
Okay.
It's cultural. It's sociocultural. We are socialized in a particular way. And so we have to target that form of socialization and not personalize it.
But so, Jock, where does it stop? Because the more we say it is cultural, it is how we are socialized. We are still bringing up children.
Yes.
Are we going to continue in that?
Blaming. You are not blaming him. You are addressing what is wrong. The socialization is not correct.
But Doc, the people you are trying to make a case for are telling you they don't want a case made for them.
Why?
Because they find it sort of, in quotes, empowering that hey, they too, they've been attacked.
They see nothing wrong with it.
It's because they don't understand the impact on them. They don't. Just check the statistics. If you take road accidents, if you take, if you check mortality rates, how young men are dying. I may be impressionistic without any statistics, but just anecdotal. Check obituaries around. Just check that. There are health consequences to some of these things. You are in trouble, you cannot even share your pain. Men are unable to share their pain.
Because they will be called weaklings.
Who will call them weaklings?
Society.
And that is why I want the focus to be on society.
So we need to change
our
orientation.
It doesn't mean you don't take personal responsibility. But I'm not going to blame you for what you are doing, because I know where the wiring is coming from. And we must focus on that. And it is, looking at our songs, certain practices, movie scripts, here and there, they all come together to really produce the people we see.
Wow.
So we internalize all of these messages. So a scriptwriter has a responsibility. A teacher has a responsibility.
Because really, when the first time the conversation of, because he mentioned this Monica thing had come, he said it in an interview. Oh, she sent me this and that and that. If 1, 2, 3 journalists had said that, and you don't think that it shouldn't have gone to where it did, or it shouldn't have ended this way or that way, you don't think that the conversation would have shifted?
He actually said it didn't end up in anything. They became friends, just friends. It didn't actually end up in what we are thinking. They became just friends, good friends.
But nothing was said about it.
They made a hit song out of it.
Yeah, so he created a story out of that and added a few things, and then.
And what lessons are there from the story? The song, what lessons?
It's a party song.
So, something that could have resulted in a disaster, we are dancing to it.
Yeah.
And the lessons thereof, we are not picking. We are silent on the bigger issue. That if somebody is sending you nude pictures in your DM, that in and of itself should not lead to celebration.
I think he was capitalizing on that, cashing in on that,
but the lessons must
to broaden his creativity.
I will not fault him on that creative aspect, but it cannot be creative without ethics. It cannot be. And that is what is happening. Anything for anything. Anything for money.
But don't we also need to look at it from this angle, that he didn't really, succumb to that kind of temptation, if you like. And
hallelujah.
He didn't.
But the act in itself.
But he didn't send the nude. It was sent to him.
So why am I not hearing conversation about what the lady did was wrong?
I'm sure Kwame must have said different things. A lot of morally right things in that interview. But because the public dwells more on stuff like that, they promoted it more than whatever he said that would have made more sense in that interview. So let's look at what the consumer also likes to consume.
Okay.
Because the DJs and the presenters, they want the things to trend.
Yeah.
Their programs and whatever they're putting out there to trend. So whatever the consumer embraces is what you want to put out there to promote your job.
There's another angle, but let me pick this message first. I want to touch on an angle regarding Harvey Weinstein. The fact that not only women came out to say that they had been abused. So let me read this one from the taxpayer. He says, men do face sexual harassment a lot. The irony is it is seen to be a privilege for such advances to be made towards you. They call you John when you complain, which is very, very unfortunate. Lawyer mentioned it's rape, and when she says stop in the middle of the act and you don't, in the same instances, and is mistaken to mean you want to sleep with a person. So your partner wakes up, she touches you, sees you up, you make it clear you end in the mood. She jumps, okay, and have her way with you. That's rape right there. Not every cultural, religious, and traditional practice did us good. Yes, this is one of them. I tried to censor some of the words because kids are listening at this point in time. So thank you very much for your message. But I was making reference to Harvey Weinstein, who was actually accused of sexually abusing not only women but men as well. It appears we are limiting the whole thing to just women, even though next week we would be opening it up for the men to also come and tell their stories. Don't you think we should open this whole conversation up because it's not just about the women. You can call in right now 03022165541. Do you know anybody who has suffered, any man who has suffered any form of sexual abuse, whether in the creative industry elsewhere? You can call us right now 03022165541. 03022165541. In the meantime, let me come in studio and speak to Dr. Bequin and pick his thought on this one. The fact that elsewhere, and I'm very sure it may also prevail in our industry, it's not only the women who are abused. Harvey Weinstein's case is a typical one that we can always make reference to. Doc, is this something that we should be worried about?
Absolutely, because what is not good is not good, and men are human beings. They have pain. You know, a violation of dignity is irrespective of your sex.
Okay.
So we must be open to men who are abused.
All right.
You know, and then provide them the support and address their concerns as much as we are doing for the women. But we must not be under any illusion that they are in equal numbers. That is the point I want to have.
That's the point. Okay. Finally, you have anybody that you want to say shout outs to? I mean, anybody want to greet before we leave here?
Obviously, I want to say a very good evening to my wife who is listening, and to my children at home, and also to urge the creative sector to be to seek knowledge.
Okay.
Come together, get training. And of course, there are organizations that can help you draw policies, do the advocacy, engage the system as far as protection of your rights are concerned in the area of sexual harassment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me come to you, Vicky. Vicky, your final words before we go.
Okay, I think that we need to promote talent and professionalism in the creative industry. I mean, give roles to those who are deserving of it, not because you have had your way with them.
Yeah.
And don't mix business with pleasure.
Awesome.
Scripts are not giving in hotel rooms. They shouldn't be giving in hotel
Beautiful. Any new project you're working on, or something that we should be looking forward to?
I am, but there's no title at the moment.
Okay.
So the recruitment is still in the cinemas. So
wonderful.
Watch my show runs on UTV every Thursday at 11 p.m. from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Thursdays. Yeah, it's an adult show.
Oh.
So above 18.
Oh, wow.
We're all happy.
Oh, wow. I'm happy on behalf of some people. Whitney. Yeah, we're leaving.
Yeah, I am so glad that we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
However uncomfortable they are, they need to be had because they are realities that are happening in our spaces, and we are the only people that can make things right amongst ourselves. So I'm happy this is happening. I would on behalf of a lot of our creatives extend our deepest condolences to the family of one of our biggest creative designers, Pokia Monteseb, Pokia Poku Monteseb. We lost her sadly on Valentine's Day.
Sad.
And it's sad. We are praying for her husband, the children she's left behind, her family, and everybody that is in that family. This is such a huge blow, and we pray that we hear less cases of maternal mortality in our country. I mean, it's 2024. It can't be happening that whilst you're going to give life, you lose your life. So we say deepest condolences to the family, and we're praying with them.
Thank you very much, Whitney Boachi Mensah, event executive. To you, Dr. Adolf Wukubekwe, who is a clinical psychologist, and then lawyer Bobby Bunsen is a lead consultant, the Robert Smith Law Group, and then Vicky Zuga, actress, for coming through today to Showbiz A to Z. My name is Kwame Dazi, show produced by Philip Nye, with assistance from Anita Tai. We also had Olivier Fangdan on social media. Show brought to you by